You know, to me, gear is, you could give me a shitty beat up whatever with some flat wounds and a freaking combo. It'll make it sound like me, because the music isn't in the amp. It's not in the guitar. It's in our body. Our bodies make the music, not the gear.
Okay, Matt here for Savarez TV. Last day, fourth day of NAMM. I'm with the great Dave Ellefson. How's it going?
It's going wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for asking. Have you had a good NAMM show?
It's been great. Our little booth here has been jam-packed, full of action. Tons of rock stars coming by, signing, hanging out. We've had a couple of, we did the premiere for the Nick Menza movie here, a little trailer that we did yesterday. We had a health and wellness session from somebody you may know, Dr. Randy Kurtz, who has written the books about chiropractic for bass players, violinists, pianists, guitarists. So we're just keeping people healthy while they're at NAMM.
Yeah, it's the best moment of the year now, because it's like Disneyland, but for adult musicians, you know.
Yeah,
everybody's happy and laid back. And
yeah, I like how you say that, adults, not necessarily grown-ups, but adults. Yeah.
So what's this coffee business then?
You know, I started the coffee line about 5-6 years ago, and you know, it's just, look, it's an extension of my lifestyle. People are into wine and beer and CBD and other stuff, and I don't do any of that anymore. So for me, it's coffee. You know, every good thrash metal record should have a lot of coffee to it, you know. And most musicians, we drink coffee in this. You're from Italy, you should know coffee, right? So
that's a really good idea, because it's difficult to find a good coffee, you know.
In fact, I'd heard a friend of mine, Michael Spriggs, is a friend of mine that I hired to work for me when I was doing artist relations for Peavey, and he told me the story about how, I think it was a pope in Italy, and you know, he liked to drink it because it made him very nervous, like cocaine, you know, like got him all hyper. And you know, I think one of his bishops or whoever said, "Sir, maybe we should be concerned about this coffee." And he replied something to the effect of, "The Lord will forgive us this one sin," as he continued his coffee. So here we are. Thanks to that Pope, we now have coffee. And
so what does the Dave Ellefson coffee have on Dave Ellefson?
Yeah, no, it's Ellefson Coffee Company, and so we have we've done a lot. You know, we've been to a lot of the big rock and roll festivals. I have a partner over in Italy, the Motley Brew, who they're a tea company. So they've tried taking my coffee into like Bloodstock and a couple of the big metal festivals over there. It's rock and roll coffee, you know.
You know, musically speaking, where are you at the moment, or your go-to gear?
You know, I play from the heart, man. You know, like I did 5 shows this week, right? I did Kings of Thrash, which is my Megadeth cohorts from the past. We play the 80s Megadeth stuff, you know, primarily, and a lot of some new wave of British heavy metal stuff that inspired us. That's very precise, it's focused, it's attack-oriented, right? And then, you know, Metal Allegiance is our own records, as well as some of our favorite covers. So you're sort of, I'm a little wider in the approach of that, you know.
What's your rig at the moment?
Well, it's anything, right? So with Kings of Thrash, it's the Jackson, the Harkey, stretch jeans, you know, high tops, you know, it's you know, 1990s thrash metal. When I do Kings of Thrash, I'll play through either a Harkey or an SVT. Actually, the other night I played through an SVT that was phenomenal, a good SVT classic cabinet. And then what's the rack mount one? Is it an SVT 2 or is that a 4? Is it the 4? It's the rack. It's basically the classic, but it's put into a rack mount.
Probably the 4. Yeah.
That one is a better head for me, because it's got the graphic EQ.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of other features in it that, for me, that's a good sounding Ampeg for when I have those kind of.
You endorse Ampeg?
I don't endorse Ampeg. No, I mostly have given my endorsement to Harkey, because it's been very Megadeth centric.
Yeah.
But when I play other things, you know, the other night I did the Ronnie Montrose Remembered. So I played bass for Ronnie for 2 years. That was a straight up kind of P bass pick into an SVT. That's what it is. Don't mess with the
Can't go
formula.
wrong
So
with
the other night they had an SVT. You go up, you play. The truth of it is, as you know, it's the tone is in our hands, it's in our ears, and it's in our heart.
Yeah.
And there's some of those Montrose songs even that really I can tell. Upchurch when he was playing it was I could tell the stuff that he played with a pick because he was using flat wound strings in '71 or whenever it was they recorded this record. And then there's other stuff that's very finger. And it's honestly it's easier to play some of it with the fingers, but because it needs the attack. And when I hit the stage, man, it needs to move the room. You know what I mean? So to me, that music is very, it's happy, it's fun rock and roll, but it's got a punch, man. So to me, when I get on the stage, give me the plectrum. I can grind it. I can get the tone that I want. I can hear it. I can dig in and get it. So, to me, gear is. You could give me a shitty beat up whatever with some flat wounds and a freaking combo. It'll make it sound like me because the music isn't in the amp. It's not in the guitar. It's in our body. Our bodies make the music, not the gear.
Well, especially bass players.
Anybody, drummers too. You know what I mean? I hear one guy hit a snare, it sounds one way. You hear Alex Van Halen hear it sounds that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The snare, it's funny with drummers. The snare is kind of their signature thing.
It's probably the most personal thing. Yeah.
Which I guess is why everybody gets signature snares, right?
Yeah.
You hear Kenny Aronoff hits it. It sounds like him. You have Van Halen. It sounds like him. Stuart Copeland. I mean, these are iconic sounds to these snares. As soon as you hear it, you know what artist it is. Because of the snare drum, I mean that's how defined those guys are. Again, the music's in their heart. It's how they hit that drum. If I hit that drum, it would sound like crap. Because I'm not a drummer, Yet they hit it. It's masterful,
Yeah, I'm really pleased to meet you. I mean, I've obviously been a huge fan since I was a teenager.
Thank you.
The big four, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer, and etc. So it's just such a treat. So I'm just eager to ask you one last question. How do you guys know each other?
Well, we're bass players. Yeah.
I know it's a big.
I think. Look, I knew of you. I think through our mutual friend Steve Bailey, for sure. And
in Germany.
In Germany, at the
Base
Warwick base camp.
Yeah.
Hans Peter, the owner of Warwick, he had those. They were kind of like little mini NAMM shows for bass players. He'd have all of us. He'd fly us over. We're over there, kind of almost at the Czech Republic border, way over in Eastern Germany, and they were just wonderful. They were
bass players who were jamming, talking. Everything was around the bass. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And we created a lot of relations that still stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I spent the afternoon with Leland Sklar, with Steve Bailey, all those people that I met in Germany at the base camp.
Yeah, you're right. Leland, Stu Ham. I mean, all kinds of. I remember talking to Neil Murray. He's a big fan. I'm a big fan of his, playing on those Whitesnake records. A lot of even those big records. It was him that played bass on a lot of that stuff. I think Still of the Night, a bunch of that stuff was all him. And so for me as an American to go over there to be with your tribe, the European bass players, was a real treat. Because anyway, that's our history. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to coming to see you play when you come in Paris, maybe.
Yeah, I'm doing a solo tour called the Bass Warrior Tour,
Cool.
And it starts mid-February in Italy, because Andy Martingelli, my guitar player, he's my musical director on a lot of stuff, so he put the band together. I'm coming in, performing. A little bit of storytelling. I'm going to kind of go through an archival history of my career, some of the early cuts. A lot of this Megadeth stuff was very bass-centric. A lot of heavy, significant introductions to the songs were done on bass, as well as a lot of solo stuff that I did, of course. So it'll kind of be like a sort of an A to Z in my career. And I think we have like a week of dates in Italy, and then we go up into Lithuania and up through kind of the Eastern European side there, up to Estonia, and then drop down into Germany. And then, so it's about 3 weeks. I had to ask the guy to stop booking. He kept booking, which is awesome. I said, I just got to make sure I keep my throat and So
where can people find the tour dates on your website?
yeah, on davidellefson.com, everything is there, and all the coffee and everything is over at ellefsonemporium.com. So so I'll be over your way in about a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Yep,
Real
thanks.
treat to meet
Yep,
you.
thanks.
Thanks for everything. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.